everyone, Cody from Mactelecom Networks. In this video, we're going to be looking at yet another new product from Ubiquiti, and that new product is the UPS 2U Pro. This does offer us expanded functionality over the 2U UPS, and it has pure sine wave output. Now, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a closer look at the UPS 2U Pro, and then we'll get it set up. So let's get started. This is the UPS 2U Pro. On the front, we have this very nice bezel, and on the left-hand side, you can see that we have the power button. On the middle of it, we have a 3.7-inch touchscreen. On the touchscreen, we're going to be able to see things like the sockets on the back, the power draw, and if anything is plugged into the plugs. The bezel is removable as we're able to replace the batteries inside, and I'll show you that now. On the sides of the bezel on the UPS 2U Pro, we do have this button that we need to press, and then we could pop the front plate off. Under the bezel, we have these two thumb screws that we could loosen to get to the batteries that are inside. You may need a Phillips screwdriver, so I'm going to loosen these off. With the thumb screws loosened up, we could open it up, and if you wanted to replace the batteries, you could go ahead and do so. You would just pop this cable apart, and then you would go ahead and you would pull this tab. This is what the battery bank looks like when it's pulled out from the UPS 2U. I'm not going to go ahead and take this plastic off as it is glued to the batteries, but these are field replaceable, and it's a lead acid 72V 10 amp hour. How long does this UPS last when it's at full load? Well, it will last 9 minutes at full load, and half load it will last 22 minutes. Let's now take a look at the back of the UPS 2U Pro. We have 8 ports, and they're all surge and battery. These ports do look a little bit different because they are NEMA 5-20R. One major difference between the UPS 2U Pro and just the standard 2U UPS is each one of these ports are resettable individually, so that is a massive improvement. We then have our fan, and we have an emergency power off port. We also have 2 RJ45 surge in/out ports, and then we have our management port at the bottom, which is 100 megabits per second. One thing you need to know about the plug for the UPS 2U Pro is it is not standard for a typical household. You're not going to be plugging this into your wall outlet at home. This is a NEMA 5-20R outlet, and it is a 20 amp. So you're going to want to get an electrician to run a wire for you. You do not want to use one of those converters that you would find on Amazon. This is just a comparison between the standard UPS 2U and the UPS 2U Pro, which is quite a lot bigger. So you want to make sure that you have a rack that could accommodate it. It also comes in at 70.5 pounds, but they do give you rack rails. The price on this unit is $679 USD. Now I'm going to get it plugged in and set up, and then we'll take a look at the interface. The UPS 2U Pro is now installed in my network rack, and it is online. We could see an overview right here. We could tell where all the power ports are and what is plugged into the power port, which is nice. If I hover over one of the power ports, it's going to show me all the information that we need to see. So it'll tell me the AC outlet number, the name, which I haven't named, the power, it's going to tell us the current, the voltage, and the power factor. Currently, I only have 3 things plugged into the UPS, and one of those is my USB PDU Pro. We also have our uplink port down at the bottom. This is used for management. And then we have the surge in and surge out Ethernet ports, which I'm currently not using. Below that, we have our surge and we have our power utilization. You can see that I'm currently only using 18% of the available power, so 330 watts out of 1920 watts. We also could see the battery, and it's ready at 100%. For if this gets depleted all the way to 0%, to bring it up to 90%, it takes about 8 hours. Then underneath that, we have our safe pairing. So we could pair devices like our NVR, our Beast, and our NASes, and that's what I'm going to do. But hovering over the eye icon, it says the UPS safely shuts down paired devices when the remaining battery runtime reaches the configured trigger point. And this is something new in the firmware, and the standard 2U UPS also does have this feature. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pair all of these devices. So we click on Takeover, and then we need to put in our username or email and the password for our Ubiquiti account. All 3 devices are now paired to the UPS 2U Pro, and this is where we could set our different trigger points. So start safe shutdown when the battery runtime remaining reaches, and then it says 5 minutes. You could have it down to 2 minutes, or you could have it all the way up to 15 minutes. So if the battery gets to 15 minutes, then it's going to safely shut down these 3 devices. I'm just going to leave it at about 5 minutes because I think that's pretty good. You could also see the estimated battery runtime at the current load, and I have 1 hour and 16 minutes. Something also very useful, and they did bring this to the standard 2U UPS, is our power cycle on restore. So briefly cycles power when AC returns during battery use to restart connected devices, and we're definitely going to want to check that off. You could also set up a power delay. So adds a delay before power cycling to allow devices to complete a safe shutdown if power is restored quickly. So I'm going to do it at about 3 minutes, and I think that's pretty good. Now below it does tell us different information. It's pretty basic. This is what happens with every Ubiquiti device. It's the MAC address, it's the model and the IP, and then we could see the parent device that it's connected to, which is my ECS switch. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the changes. In the middle, we have our outlets. So with our outlets, you can name each one of your outlets individually. I'm using outlet 5, 6, and 8, and it's going to show us our power draw within those ports as well. Something nice and something new with this is we could link a device to it, and we could also power cycle the ports individually. With the normal or the standard 2U UPS, if you power cycle the ports, it's going to power cycle all of the ports. It's not going to do them one by one. You could also activate or deactivate the port, and we could power cycle on internet loss. If you have your modem plugged into this UPS and your internet goes down, it's going to power cycle your modem. Under settings, we could change the name of the device. We could add a device tag to our fabrics, and then we have our IP settings. We also have UPS settings. So we have the NUT server, which I won't be testing in this video, but it shares UPS status with other devices. Use the ID hostname and port when configuring third-party devices for safe shutdown. We also have power off buzzer. So if the power goes off on the device, you're going to hear it keep beeping. If you don't want that to be beeping, you could turn that off. We also have emergency power off. Allows the UPS outlets to immediately shut down via the EPO circuit. To recover, restore the EPO circuit to its normal state and press the power button. Last thing we have on here is the grid voltage sensitivity. So we could have it on high, medium, or low. So it determines the tolerance to power grid voltage fluctuation between switching to battery power. Even if AC power is available, medium and low tolerate a wider range of power conditions, but also increase battery transfer time. Under manage, we could change the screen brightness, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute. We also have night mode, and then we could do all of our management things. With the LCD screen, we could touch on any port and we could see the power draw, or we could disable the port or power cycle it right from the screen. We can look at our uplink port, and that's going to tell us our download and our upload. It's also going to show us which port that it's uplinking to. You could also see at the bottom under the ports, the wattage that we're using. Under the settings wheel, we could see all the information about the unit. We could change the brightness, we could disable the buzzer, and we could enable EPG, or we could restart the whole UPS. And that's going to be my video on the UPS 2U Pro. And I do like this unit, even though I haven't been running it too long. So I'll probably do a follow-up video after I've been running it for a few months. Now, a couple things to consider: the size of this unit. Make sure that you have a rack that's big enough to hold this in there. And also, it's a different plug than a standard North America plug that would go into your wall. So you want to make sure that you have an outlet, a 20 amp circuit that could support it. If you have any questions about the UPS 2U Pro, leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.